This week on Hidden Heritage, we're going to visit one of the sacred sites of the American Indian called Bear Butte. One of the oldest Lakota sacred ceremonies is called the Hanbleceya, or the Vision Quest. Over the course of history, one of the most common sites of the Vision Quest is in the state of South Dakota, near the small town of Sturgis. Join us now as we visit the sacred site and retrace the footsteps of many of the greatest tribal leaders of all times. As we approach the haunting butte, which seems to rise out of the prairie like a guardian of the plains, one couldn't help but notice the commercialization of the surrounding lands. Bear Butte is just north of the small town of Sturgis, the same Sturgis that is home of one of the largest and best-known motorcycle rallies in the world. The road to Bear Butte is scattered with makeshift campgrounds, biker bars, and otherwise unassuming establishments that only come to life once a year during the bike rally.
No, you gotta roll down two windows.
Somehow the two worlds have seemed to cohabitate without much incident. Perhaps it is because of the spiritual nature of Bear Butte and the fact that most visitors, including the greater share of the rally attendees, understand there is something very powerful and reverent about this location. As time goes by, all things do change, and so it goes for Bear Butte as well. There have been recent infringements on the future of Bear Butte, including oil wells, power-generating windmills, campgrounds, nightclubs, and bars. Despite the clash of the cultures, the Butte continues to bring solace and comfort to those who seek its spiritual gifts. As for our visit, it was a spiritual quest that was long overdue. It's a beautiful afternoon in South Dakota. We're on the north side of a little town called Sturgis, near the Black Hills of South Dakota. Now, Sturgis is best known for its annual bike rally, motorcycle rally, but there's another very special place here. It's called Bear Butte, and we're at the base of that location right now. We're about ready to take a pilgrimage from the bottom to the top, as many of the Lakota and other tribal leaders and spiritual leaders have over the course of hundreds and perhaps thousands of years. Join us now as we take our pilgrimage up to the top of Bear Butte. We could feel the energy in the air as we arrived. Bear Butte, with an elevation of 4,420 feet, rises above the South Dakota prairie on the northeast edge of the Black Hills. To most, Bear Butte simply stands as a beautiful and striking landmark. But to many Plains Indian tribes, it is one of, if not the most important focal point in their religious and ceremonial traditions. The mountain has religious significance to over 30 indigenous groups, including the Lakota, the Omaha of Nebraska, and the Cheyenne. Native peoples from Canada to North Texas know and believe Bear Butte to be a sacred place. The Lakota call Bear Butte Mato Paha, or Bear Mountain, and believe the butte to be the most powerful landmass in their religion. They consider Bear Butte sacred. One can find the 7 sacred elements: land, air, water, rocks, animals, plants, and fire surrounding the butte. The Lakota believe that Bear Butte is most sacred during the Hanbleceya, or Vision Quest. There is a legend of how the map of the sky that guided the spiritual life of the Lakota was given to them on top of Bear Butte. The map particularly instructed the Sioux on how they should behave while near or on Bear Butte. The receiving of the star map is not unlike the receiving of the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. Tribal people have gathered at Bear Butte at particular times of the year to consider important questions to the tribe and make lasting decisions for the people, as well as to gather medicine and food. The Cheyenne have a legend that the Creator presented their spiritual leader sweet medicine, 4 sacred arrows, and a medicine bundle in a cave at Bear Butte. The story explains the importance of sweet medicine as a prophet to the Cheyenne. He is a religious figure of at least equal importance as Moses to the Cheyenne people. The fact that sweet medicine is said to have communicated with the spirits on Bear Butte is evidence to the fact that the mountain is a place of acute religious importance. The religious magnitude of Bear Butte becomes apparent upon close examination of its rich history. Red Cloud, Crazy Horse, and Sitting Bull all camped, prayed, and performed ceremonies at Bear Butte during their lifetimes. A council of Sioux meet at Bear Butte for yearly summer conventions. Bovie homesteaded on the southern slopes of the mountain, and by the time of World War II, he and his family were legal owners of the site. In the spring of 1945, the Northern Cheyenne received permission from Bovie to hold a ceremony at Bear Butte to pray for the end of World War II. The Cheyenne found that the Bovie family welcomed their interest in the mountain, and over the years the Bovies continued to encourage native religious ceremonies. By the mid-1950s, Bovie was attempting to stir up interest in making Bear Butte a national park. After his death, his family continued the effort. When federal interest in the project waned, the state government in Pierre took action, and Bear Butte became a state park in 1961 and was registered as a National Historic Landmark in 1965.
Well, Bear Butte, our family were homesteaded on Bear Butte. So, and it was the Bovie family who lived there for a lot of years. When they knew that they were going to get out of that business, our association had been, and their association really been with the Northern Cheyenne people who, you know, as you know, through Cheyenne history was monumental. It's really the Mount Sinai to the Northern Cheyenne people. It's where they got their laws, and it's where they got the arrow bundle, and so it's just really big. And it was important to the Bovie family that Native people always have access to Bear Butte. We believe that Bear Butte continues to grow because it offers itself to a place where people can come and leave their burdens. That's what it's for, whether you do it by prayer, or by smudging, or by hiking, or whatever it is, but that you should leave what's bothering you on Bear Butte, and it accepts it. You know, there's the Sturgis rally that goes on, and those two things can absolutely coexist. It just really boils down to how are you going to respect that. Again, if you don't believe in Indian religion or Indian spirituality, it doesn't really make any difference. The fact that you can respect that people do have very strong beliefs and really ties to the land. And you know, this area is it's been the home of nearly all the tribes. I mean, there are, Apache people have strong ties to this part of the country. The Crow and the Blackfoot, the Mandan-Hidatsa have the Great Canoe story, which is really similar to Noah's Ark. And again, it doesn't really matter if folks understand that, embrace it, but they need to realize the importance of Bear Butte to people. And there's plenty of holy places and special places in the world, but it may not be my religion or my belief, but just knowing that place is just so important to people. I personally believe that the magnet that lives in people's heart is in Bear Butte. That's just my belief. I think people who come to Bear Butte, or even folks that have never been here, and they just feel this continuous pull. Why am I getting pulled into the Black Hills? Why do I feel this unfulfilled, that I need to go there? And we've had people come through the store and they're lost. You can look at their face and they're just carrying these monumental burdens. Just they slouch, and the burden's too heavy for them. And there's been some people that I've approached, and it's a tough deal, because it's tough to go to someone and say, I feel that you have a burden, and I might be able to send you to a place to help. And of course they're looking at you out of one eye going, you don't know me, why are you getting involved with my life? And talk to them and send them, encourage the folks to go to Bear Butte. I like going at sunup or at sunrise and taking a little gift, leaving some tobacco, or at least leave your burdens. And some of these folks have come back just in tears, and they can't explain it, have no idea what happened at Bear Butte, but they come back here and they're standing straighter and they're smiling, and after that we see them every year, and it's just become a pilgrimage place. And I think every year that folks come back, that magnet grows a little bit stronger, and the understanding of what's happening on the Butte and in this area, it's an individual thing. It's going to mean something different for them than what it would mean for me. But whether the people, again, are Native people or not Native people, it calls to them, and that's why Bear Butte is so darn special to me. And it will always be there. Like you were speaking of, in the turbulence of the world, man, sometimes you got to throw your arms around the things that are stable, and things like Bear Butte. It's in not peril, but there are certainly challenges with the oil drilling and the bars and that sort of thing. So it needs to be protected, and it needs to be honored, and people need to understand what it is. But I think that's how you do it. You talk to them, and you go up there, and you leave with a different feeling in your heart.
Frank Foolscrow, the Lakota ceremonial chief, made pilgrimages to Bear Butte throughout his lifetime. Foolscrow taught racial harmony, not just between whites and Native Americans, but among all the peoples of the world. He believed the Lakota should never sell the Black Hills. A bust and plaque in front of the Educational Center at Bear Butte State Park honors Frank Foolscrow's efforts. In 2011, the National Trust for Historic Preservation included Bear Butte on its list of the 11 most endangered places.
We believe that Bear Butte continues to grow because it offers itself to a place where people can come and leave their burdens. That's what it's for, whether you do it by prayer, or by smudging, or by hiking, or whatever it is, but that you should leave what's bothering you on Bear Butte, and it accepts it.